where do I begin? And I mean that in the most serious sense. Where do I even begin with this? Yes, it's supposed to be modeled after the A2, but in reality, it's just an A1 car. It's just an A1 variant with a Picatinny rail on it. The A2 variant has this. I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's go ahead and address something right off the bat. Yes, this is double eagle, and yes, this is the box that it comes in. And really, this is what you need to expect. Plain, not that interesting, and just misleading. The way it's presenting itself is saying, "New edition L85A2 series," and you get this cool, well, just this cool representation of the gun. And of course, you have the A1 configuration and the A2 configuration. But in reality, one of these things is not like the other. Yeah. Even then, this thing does not come with a manual. And even on the real steel, which I know a lot of you want me to talk about, let me go ahead and just pull out the Holy Book of Armaments and turn to Chapter 4, page 190, verses the Gospel of Enfield, verses 20 through 30. After the demise of the 4.8 EM2 rifle, in the early 1950s, the British Army relied for many years on the Belgian 7.62 FNFAL, which was built under license in the United Kingdom as the L1A1, which I'm going to stop right there and let you know that the British Army, many soldiers who actually served with the L1A1, will straight up tell you it's a fantastic rifle, and they really wish that they had the gun still when the L85 was first produced. When it became clear that the next NATO standing around would be the smaller than the current 7.62, the British produced the 4.8mm, but this too had to be abandoned when NATO adopted the 5.56 round. The work done on the design of the weapon was, however, carried over into the new system, which eventually entered service in 1986 as the 5.56 L85A1 individual weapon. This is the bullpup design using conventional gas operation with a rotating bolt, which engages in lugs in the rear of the breech. The design makes maximum use of the stamping, pressing, well, you basically get the whole thing. This is where things get a little heavy. When the weapon was issued to troops in 1984, over the first decade of service, it received much criticism, some of which was undoubtedly deserved, especially concerning the fact that it cannot be fired satisfactorily by left-handers. Yeah, sorry, Southpaws. Which with time, experience, and numerous minor modifications, it is now a satisfactory weapon, although it has conspicuously failed to attract any export orders from major armies. A much modified, non-automatic, bolt-operated version was developed for use by young people as a 5.56 cadet rifle, L85A1, and a carbine variant was also developed but never went into production. Now you're automatically thinking, okay, then what the hell, Al? Well, here's the thing. The L85 was basically Britain's M16. It had its fair share of problems, yes, but the sad part is that Enfield, which were the producers of the L85A1, went out of business before they could even fix the problems. It's kind of like the same thing with Armalite. They basically sold their rights to Colt, and, well, they no longer can produce, well, really, any substantial Armalite rifles. But with the L85, the biggest problems was as follows. The trigger grouping failed. The magazine fell out. The bolt. The firing pin. The barrel itself. The barrel shroud. The sights. However, the SUSAT sight, which is that ACOG looking sight, actually was very advanced for the time, having built-in illuminated sights. And the batteries were actually somewhat alright. But, of course, much like the M16, it had to go through many changes. And here we are in the L85A3 variant, which is a very tactical, very much so multi-purpose weapon that has gone through three iterations of perfection. But because of the A1, it had to go through many decades of changes. Unlike the M16, which, well, during wartime, it was like, oh shit, our boys are dying on the field because the weapon's failing, we gotta quickly do something about it. For the Brits, they didn't really have a conflict at the time. And when the Middle Eastern conflict started up, they went in with L85s and they were like, fuck this shit, we'll basically take over the Yanks and fools. And that's kind of how it went for the longest time. However, I think Madamus did a better video on the L85 and busting the myth about it than I could ever do. So do go check out his video about the real truth behind the L85. But the A2 variant, which supposedly is what we have here, was a mass improvement on the A1. It had a better bolt group, it had a better trigger guard, it had better firing rate. However, it only fired 3-round burst. Supposedly. Or, I think so. I'm not sure. I'd have to look more information into that. But the big thing about the L85A2, however, was that it was definitely not meant... The handguard definitely was outdated for the time when sustained fire was needed. So they completely redesigned the handguard to be just one big hunk of metal Picatinny rail, which allowed you to have your foregrips. However, this one is still using the A1 grip, and just decided, hey, we'll just put a little thing on there. So, Double Eagle, I gotta wonder, what the fuck? Because you basically took because you had an A2 here, but instead you decide to take all the problems of the A1 and throw it into a Springer. I shit you not. The bolt is just, well, hold on, let me check real quick. Yeah, okay. However, unlike before, you can't just freely drop the magazine. Now, you have to physically grab it in order to actually get it. So you have no free dropping mag. However, what's actually nice about this is that this can take your the Springer Scarl magazines. So that way, if you have a Springer Scarl lying around, you have some extra mags. It does come with a 30-round magazine with a 200-round reservoir. However, to stop with the rattle, I just recommend you put the 30 rounds in. It does have a safety, of course, a nice little cross-beam safety like you would have on a shotgun. The trigger pull is decent. The inner barrel itself, looking in there real quick, is actually somewhere around in here. Well, here or here, depending. But this is where things kind of go south. One, if you want to have a sling on this thing, you can't just pop this out and pop it over here. No, you have to have this in. You have the ambidextrous sling points back here, but really that's nothing you can work with. But if you had seen my shooting video where I was relaxing, I had a hell of a time priming this, because Jesus Christ, this prime on this, ow, is more stiff than a bottle for a fucking Viagra. The best example I can give of trying to prime this is like trying to pull back a rusty bolt on a Mosin Nagant. That's the best example I can give of the actual prime of this thing. This is a hellish prime on this. What the fuck? And you think, okay, if it's got a hellish prime, that means it's got a powerful spring. No. And you'll see the FPS in the firing, but the FPS is well below CQB. It's below 300, basically. Now, can this be modified? Yeah. No, seriously, you can't actually modify this. But the fixed hop in this is, Jesus Christ, what the fuck? Not only that, but you can't remove this. And even the carry handle is ridiculous.
What? What the fuck?
Just, woo, slip right off. Speaking of which, you have no Picatinny rail. None! So, I'm going to have to modify this to where I can put where I have a Picatinny rail on this thing. Even the red dot, which, oh, they were just promoting the hell out of. This is the red dot. Can you see that in there? Can you see a little red dot? No, you can't. You can barely see the fucking thing. You know, it's sad when, and I'm not even fucking joking on this. It's sad when Double Eagle's other red dot sight is actually better than this ACOG variant. What the fuck? Not only that, but they do give you a small screwdriver, which breaks. I mean, the screwdriver's still good, but the handle's fucked. And you know, it wouldn't be as bad if they wouldn't have charged you $45 fucking dollars. For this thing.
Beep, beep, beep! Oh, sorry! What's that? Oh, that's just a you can't make this shit up alarm! Get out of my brain!
You heard correctly. $45!
Because fuck you, give me money! Fuck you, give me money!
For this? No. 20 at the most. For what they give you here. That's my recommendation. Because guess what? For $45, and you want to know what I can recommend? $45? $45, you can get a UTG tactical tri-shot shotgun, which comes with a decent flashlight, a decent red dot, and a hella package that goes with it. For $45, you can get a really good non-blowback pistol. For $45 fucking dollars, you can get a better Springer than that son of a bitch.
Of course!
Jesus Christ, for $45, you can get a UTG pump rifle with an extra magazine.
You need to shut the fuck up!
Do you see where I'm going with this? Double Eagle. Do you know what you could get for $45? You could get a refurbished, on eBay, mind you, free shipping and all, for $40, you could get a refurbished IWI Tabor X95, which can take a lipo and be modified to be HPA. This? No. Just no. And I know a lot of you are thinking, oh, Al, you're just being mean because it's just Springer. No, motherfucker, I've actually seen better Springers. You want me to go grab one? I'll go fucking grab one. UTG. Pump rifle. This thing's basically a sniper. You can modify it with a better spring. You can put a tight bore barrel in there. You can put a better hop up in there. $35. Or if you pay shipping and handling, $40. And if you throw an extra magazine in that thing, $45. $45. Right there. Type 95 Springer with a crazy ass hop up that can hit a good grouping and targets. $40. Need I go further? Because believe me, there's a lot out there for $45 that you can get your money's worth out of. But instead, Double Eagle decides to say it with me, folks, fuck you, give me money!
It's a lie! The evidence has been falsified! It's impossible! I never broke the law! I am the law!
We all know what they're doing right now. We all know what they were thinking when they said, you know, there's not a lot of L85s on the market. I know, let's make a Springer one and make it $45. Jameson, that's a great idea! And then they proceeded to laugh like this. You know, I'm never going to get tired of that clip. I'm really not. But I've went and ranted as much as I could. Let's go to the firing range. Let's go to the firing test. Let's just get the fuck on. Alright, so we are here with the chronograph now, and I've got the magazine load of .2 gram BBs. I'm going to fire 5 shots through the chronie. And we're going to see. And my donkey has decided to... son of a bitch. Greet us. By the way, I don't know if I mentioned this or not, but this prime is ridiculous. That is just a ridiculous prime. Good guy. Alright. Dominic! Farm life, you know? Alright, so let's just go ahead, get this leveled, and fire the first shot. 246. Good God, that's a hard prime. 244. 244. 245. 246. Last one. 243. So we are definitely getting a little bit around the 250 FPS mark. But let's get you guys turned around and let's actually do a distance test to see how far this thing will actually reach, shall we? I'm giving it the benefit of the doubt, and we are at 60 feet. Let's see if it'll reach. I'm going to take at least 2 shots, or at least, I'm going to take a shot from here, and if it reaches, I'll go a little further back to 70 feet, take a shot from there, go back 80 feet, take a shot from there, and we'll see how it does. Not even at 60 feet. Where it's dropping, because here's the thing, I'm looking at the .2s. They're going, whoo, wah. So we'll go a little closer and we'll see what's going on from there. So here we are about 50 feet now, and we'll see if it hits. Barely. I mean, it just went, wah, wah. That's the effective range of it. But the way the BBs are acting, it's like, we're going straight, we're going straight, we're going straight, and down to the ground. Something is going on inside of it that is causing the BBs to at least go so far, and then whack, right into the ground. That is ridiculous, in my opinion. That's just, yeah. Let's get to the target and see what kind of groupings we get, at least at 30 feet. I might go back a little further, actually. I want to see what groupings we get at 40 feet, but we'll see from there. So, let's go, shall we? Okay, so the reason I kept you on the target, instead of you seeing me, was you need to see that. This thing is horribly inaccurate. My God, is it horribly inaccurate. I mean, this thing was being hit everywhere but the target. I mean, you can see it. I was hitting this, I was hitting on the metal, I was hitting on that. The iron sights on this are a joke. It was overhopping, underhopping. There is just no explanation to how this thing was performing. It's not looking good. It's really not looking good, guys. Let's get back to the studio and give the final verdict. At the end of the day, I cannot recommend this to a new player who wants to get into backyard skirmishes or even wants to just rock springers for a good bit in airsoft because they can't afford a decent AEG. But if you're a cosplayer who wants an L85 for your 28 weeks later or 28 days later cosplay, I mean, I can recommend this as a cosplay gun only. But, if you're really going to get this, you're going to need to put a lot of TLC into this thing. Me personally, when I get the ability to, I'm going to put a better spring in this, I'm going to put a better barrel in this, I'm going to remove whatever the fucking hop-up thing is in this thing, and replace it with a better one, or even attempt to do a brain exploder type deal, where I can put a screw in there and just basically install a hop-up system of my own. But this is just fucking ridiculous. But, at the end of the day, what does it get? It is a... It pains me to do this because I know I don't want to keep adding to the stigma that L85s are bad, but this one in particular, Jesus Christ, 4 out of 10! It is below average. I wanted to give it a 3 out of 10, But it's a 4 because at least I know it can be modified. I know it can be worked on. I know a lot of my friends out there can probably take one of these and say, hey, I could probably do better. Hold my beer, I can make this better. I know a lot of cosplayers who wanted the L85. I mean, Jesus Christ. It's just one of those things, I guess. To any company out there that wants to make an L85, here's my suggestions. Make it like the modern Springers. Or hell, SEMA! I know you're making better Springers now that are actually worth the damn money and can take AEG gearboxes. Do this. Make an L85 and actually have it accept AEG magazines. Have it have a hop-up system. Actually have it have something that's actually worth the asking price of $45 fucking dollars, or hell, $40 at the fucking most. But I've said my piece. I've gone and said everything I could, and to be honest, I can't think of anything else to say in any sort of defense for this gun, because there's no way to defend it. Thank you all for watching. As always, I've been AirsoftAl.
Another settlement has sent word that they need our help.
Preston, let's, we got to talk in my quarters. I got something to, discuss with you. Shut the fuck up, Preston!